Part 10. National Games Online Game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 91. Gudong. Under everyone's eager gaze, Gongsun rolled away from his throat and took a mouthful of the fountain of life. Whoa, whoa. Gongsunli pursed his lips. There is no taste, this spring of life is like clear water. But soon, her eyes widened. My body. Gongsunli looked down at his body, and his tone was full of incredulity. Judging from her appearance, she didn't have the slightest abnormality, but she really felt the changes in her body. Strong vitality. Sun felt that his limbs were enveloped by a magical power, and this energy was very rich, and there was even a little overflow. I seem to have wasted it. Closing his eyes, Gongsunli carefully felt the new energy that appeared in his body. It was a wave of anger. It seemed to wash over every part of her body, and although the anger was fierce, she didn't feel the slightest discomfort. And after the initial overflow, this anger gradually calmed down, and it slowly merged into her body. It's as if every cell is being cared for by this breath of anger. I'm not going to die or die, am I? Thinking of the miraculous phenomenon that the Xia Kingdom Lord told her about the Xia Kingdom before, a terrible idea germinated in Sun's mind. She now feels that she can grow even if she has a broken limb, and if there is a wound, it is estimated that it will heal in an instant. Of course, she hasn't had the head iron enough to test it herself, and the feeling alone can be clear. And this is just the beginning. This anger is in her body, nourishing her body all the time. The longer it takes, the greater the benefits her body gets. What's wrong? She drank such a big sip of the fountain of life, and it didn't change. Silly you, do you understand longevity? Just a drop of the power of rebirth of a broken limb. She took a sip. You think for yourself. I don't dare to say it in 100 years, but she will definitely be the same after a few decades. Brother, your analysis is reasonable. One drop has such a big effect. How many drops do you have to take this bite? Nonsense. That's how it is counted in the novel. Let me tell you, just this fountain of life, I estimate that Gongsunli is now the strongest human in the world. On the surface, there is no change, but with the expression she enjoys so much, I guess she feels a change in her body. Poor thing. Look at the two big brothers behind her. Ha ha ha. Envy is about to rot. Aren't you envious? I don't think I'm as good as those two big brothers. How can I smell it? In the live broadcast room, everyone watched Gongsunli drink the spring of life and discussed. Xiongguo drank Wu. The two countries naturally hoped that the pioneers of their own countries could take a sip, but it was really difficult to speak. This thing, if you get it yourself, it must be very precious. Come on. Sun thought about it, and felt that this thing still couldn't let Youyu put his mouth down, and it was estimated that Youyu's effect of drinking a drop was the same as taking a sip. And the lifespan of the divine beast is inexhaustible, and it is a waste to drink too much. So in line with the principle of economy, Sun took out a leaf and put it into the spring of life and dipped it. Then directly let Youyu eat it with the blades of grass. This is terrible. After Youyu finished eating, he immediately burst into light. Youyu, you've grown up a little bit again. Gongsunli's excited voice sounded. The effect of this spring of life came so quickly. At this time, Youyu stood on the grass in a daze, and it felt that in addition to the fact that his body had grown a few centimeters taller, there was still life in his body. Sure enough, even if you dip the leaves, it's still too much. But Sun is still dancing. She wants Youyu to grow up now, an adult divine beast. That is very amazing. What's going on? Suddenly, Sun's head flicked, and she found that the light on Youyu's body had not disappeared, as if she was still growing. Phew. A soft sound sounded from under Youyu's feet, and I saw that behind Youyu's four hooves, there was an additional cloud-shaped object. which was set on the four hooves. It's just that this cloud is golden, and compared with Yo-Yo's white legs, there is a sense of sacredness. What is this? Sun pointed to Yo-Yo's feet and asked. She looked at Yo-Yo's introduction. It was no different from before, but it was true that there was a subtle change in appearance this time. Yo-Yo arched his head and arched Gongsunli. You're going to let me up? Gongsunli stretched out his finger and pointed at himself, then exerted his legs and jumped on Yo-Yo's back. Yo-Yo leaned up her neck and let out a long groan, then took a step. Yo-Yo's speed was very fast, and Gongsunli's short hair was blown up by the wind, which made people dazzled for a while. But at this moment, a white light flashed on the newly emerged cloud logo on Yo-Yo's feet, and then I saw that Yo-Yo's forehooves left the grass without knowing when. Yo-Yo, it actually flew. As Yo-Yo's speed gets faster and faster, Yo-Yo gets higher and higher from the ground. Yo-Yo! Gongsunli screamed in surprise. She couldn't believe that so quickly, Yo-Yo had changed from the original deer who couldn't even sit to a divine deer that could fly. Yo-Yo opened her mouth and let out a chirp, and everyone in the live broadcast room watched the scene with their mouths wide open. Under the sunshine, Yo-Yo looks extremely handsome, whether it is body size or appearance, it looks like it came down from the sky. In particular, the emblem of the wind spirit coat of arms in the middle of the brow adds a bit of mystery. And on Yo-Yo's back, the beautiful girl is smiling happily. This is also her first time flying, which is obviously very fresh. Sitting on Yo-Yo's back, Gongsunli's two thighs swayed back and forth, and for a while, I didn't know whether these people were fascinated by Yo-Yo or immersed in Gongsunli's beauty. For a while, the white on Yo-Yo's body and the pink on its back became the most beautiful scenery. Okay, let's go down, play for a while for fear of accidents. Looking at the sky, Sun finally remembered that there was still this ancient tree of life that had not been removed. In case someone from the demon cave came to find him, wouldn't it be trouble again? This thing, the wealth is not exposed. Smack! Jumping directly, Gongsunli fell to the ground steadily, and it was only then that she realized that there were still two people here. It's just that at this time, the two of them looked at her and looked at her a little. What the hell is worship? If the gender of the three of them were reversed, Sun said that it would still be very beautiful, but now, forget it, it will be tears if you talk too much. But now is the time to employ people, and these two people seem to be just right for her. Pioneer of the Bear country and the Ukrainian country. Sun pondered for a moment. Do things with me, as a reward, I won't pursue what you obtained in the Suanway forest. After thinking about it for a while, Sun said directly to the point. She now knew that the things she used would only be rewarded if she met the demons, so now she didn't worry about others being able to open what she wanted from the box. And she also felt that these so-called boxes were actually useless, and she basically found that the things that appeared in the boxes now did not seem to be of high value. For example, a water shield and an earth wall technique are similar to pediatrics in Sun's eyes. Maybe the real novice period is just beginning. The extraordinary abilities that have emerged now are all the most basic, and for me, they are useless at all. Sun planned in his heart. But when Foskey and Mullen heard this, it was different. Where was there still a place where they could find treasure chests? Miss Gongsunli, I don't know how to. Stop, I said, this is the reward, you have to help me do things. Of course, I will not stop you from establishing your own fiefdom, but in the area of fortification materials, you must give priority to the Suanway forest. Sun said categorically that she asked these two people to help her find materials. After all, no matter who it is, the most important thing after establishing the territory is the materials. But she didn't know that the moment she proposed this, Xiangguo and Wuguo told the two of them to listen to her. What's more, even if she didn't talk about the treasure chest before, the two of them had already decided to tie up Xiaoguo to death. So, the three of them happily reached a cooperation. And in Blue Star, after the gifts and visits of the two great powers, the Uganda and the Bear, the Xia Kingdom soon announced the establishment of an alliance. This is the first officially established alliance on the Blue Star, the alliance between the beautiful country and the cherry blossom country and the eagle sauce country is only verbal, but the alliance of the Xia country is announced to the whole world. This has made many countries unable to sit still, and it is clear that from now on it is no longer suitable for countries to live alone. All right, you're ready to eat, I'll move the old tree back. Gongsunli turned his head and instructed. The little crocodile goes to catch some game, let them both roast and eat it, remember not to bite with their mouths. Afterwards, Gongsunli threw out the flower umbrella, used the only chance to transplant the ancient tree, and then clicked back to the city. National Games online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 92. Buzz. A blue light rose from Gongsunli's feet, and a circular pattern enveloped her. Countdown to the city, 10, 9, 8, 7, 3, 2, 1. Whoosh. The audience in the live broadcast room only felt that the picture in front of them flashed, the original scene in the forest disappeared, and the picture in the live broadcast room turned into a building. This. What a familiar place. Familiar, open your eyes and see, this is the Suanwei Temple. Damn, I came back in an instant, so fast, and it took me a long time to go, right? This is the magic of the territory after the construction of the territory. It's amazing, but how does she get back? You're not going to run back, are you? The audience in the live broadcast room was taken aback, but after reacting, they began to worry about how Sun would go back. But Sun didn't seem to be flustered at all, she silently walked to the courtyard and chose a place where she thought feng shui was better. That's it. As soon as the words fell, the ancient tree of life instantly appeared in the place she had designated. Looking at the fruit on the tree and a drop of a lot of life spring water, Sun nodded with satisfaction. This place, she didn't believe that anyone could come up, not to mention this steep terrain, and the reputation of this mysterious lord alone was not in vain. Although in the hearts of Blue Star and Vanguard, the Lord of Suanwei is probably just a name, but obviously the natives here don't think so. This is the deterrent effect, Sun doesn't think anyone dares to come. Subsequently, Sun directly opened the second stage of Senzongguiyu. Fauski, who was collecting wood to build a campfire, was startled by the sudden appearance in front of him, and the freshly sorted wood fell to the ground again. Fauski looked at Gongsunli in shock, and couldn't figure out how this flower umbrella could be conjured up by a person. And he didn't know now that just now, Sun ran back and forth to the place in the center of the forest, otherwise he would definitely be even more surprised. After all, for so many days, he hadn't even seen the shadow of the Suanwei mountain range in the center, and he didn't know how far the center was from here. However, the audience in the live broadcast room saw it. Teleport. This is Gongsunli's ability. Can you teleport so far? My god. What teleportation can teleport so far? Isn't it just a thought to go where you want to go? Omega, how can there be such a person in the world? Doesn't that mean that when she was in the Blue Star, she just went wherever she wanted? God. Has she ever patronized the secret base of our beautiful country? Fortunately, she is now in her second home. If she has been in Blue Star, the consequences are unimaginable. It's scary to think about it. Do you think it's possible that she has visited important places in all the countries of the world? Also, is there any such person in Xia Kingdom? This is so perverted, brothers. But since she can teleport, why did she have to ride yo-yo over in the first place? In the live broadcast room, Siakwaran was just surprised, but foreigners began to be afraid, and the ghost knew if she had invaded other countries in this way before. But they all thought about it too much. The first was that Siun didn't have that ability, and the second was that he wasn't so boring. But anyway, today's show has taught the whole world an impressive lesson. Especially the beautiful country and the cherry blossom country, which have always been at odds with the Xia country, now even directly ordered that all the infantry should be directly stationed in important places, and someone should stand guard every 5 meters. They, all scared, no one knows if there will be such a perverted guy hiding in the crowd. And in the official live broadcast room of Xia Kingdom, the lord of the country and the people below are equally afraid. This ability cannot be resisted. Withdraw all the people who are still investigating Gongsunli. The lord of the country said lightly. I can't find out, and besides, there's no need for it, she's fine. Hu Bing agreed, and then went out to call, because he had always suspected that Gongsunli was not alone, so the investigation team below had been outside, but now, no longer checked. However, Huang Qi, who had been sitting in his seat, was a little silent. The umbrella. Huang Qi keenly found that Gongsunli seemed to be able to come back because of that umbrella, but thinking of the previous battle of Gongsunli, he was a little puzzled. Forget it, I can't guess. Then he shook his head, indicating that he couldn't figure it out. If Siun was at the scene, he would definitely laugh. Just kidding, Gongsunli's skills are complicated, okay. Can anyone understand it? The night is gradually falling, the sky is dark, and now in the Suanwei forest, there is no longer any need to be afraid of a fierce beast sneak attack. They don't go around Siun, it can be regarded as its psychological quality. A bonfire slowly rises, and a whole antelope squeaks and squeaks on top of the bonfire. Haha. I'll tell you, this is what I'm best at, you can eat more in a while. Mullen said as he was busy, holding a dagger in his hand, and from time to time he slashed 2 knives to make the antelope roast more delicious. Gongsunli sat on the other side of the campfire, quietly eating wild fruits, waiting for the barbecue to come out. Fauski, on the other hand, sat on the other side, seriously stroking the long knife in his hand, his expression looking a little distressed. Isn't it just that you slaughtered an antelope with your sword, and are you so angry? Mullen's grinning voice sounded, and the live broadcast room suddenly burst into laughter. It turned out that before roasting the antelope just now, because one could not find a suitable thing to deal with, Mullen's heart moved, and he remembered Foski's knife. So, for the first time, this treasure knife of unknown quality was put on the cutting board and used for dissection. Why don't you take the sword of the Sakura pioneer nation? Foski pointed to the unattended Tadeo next to him, and his tone was a little excited. That knife, who knows what the Sakura country samurai did with the knife, how can it be used for food? Foski felt that it made sense, but he still felt uncomfortable. Siun sat on the side and watched the two of them arguing, almost laughing. She had forgotten the last time she had an argument with her brother. Okay, don't be angry, you and Miss Gongsunli will have one hind leg in a while. Mullen muttered as he looked at the oily hind legs and swallowed. Poof. Gongsunli finally couldn't hold back his laughter, and both of them were stunned for a while. Under the light of the fire, Gongsunli's face was a little pink, and then, he turned his head and touched Yu Yu's head. Call me Ali. It just so happened that a gust of wind was blowing at this time, and Ali's short hair was flying in the wind, and his 2 eyes were shining, which looked beautiful in the night. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. National Games online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 93. I love this picture. What a beautiful feeling, I actually feel very warm in that giant crocodile inside. What the hell is this? Ha ha ha, It's been set as a mobile phone wallpaper. It's really beautiful. I feel that this picture is really great. Gongsunli is the theme, the bonfire is the background, Yo-Yo is gentle, the giant crocodile is a sense of security. If there are no other two people, it will be perfect. Damn. My grandson had dinner with someone for the first time, and he let these two guys rob it. I hate it. Why are these two guys so lucky? Looking at Foskey and Mullen, the jealousy in the eyes of the Xiaoguo audience was about to condense into substance. In the live broadcast rooms of Xiong and Wu, their audiences are similar. These two guys, with shit luck, the goddess of the East will actually dine with them. Very gentle Oriental woman. I've decided. Now that we're on good terms with Xiaoguo, I want to go to Xiaoguo to find a boyfriend and marry Xiaoguo. I'm going to find a girlfriend in Xiaoguo. Come on, the women of the Xia Kingdom will not look for you. Aren't the men of the Xia Kingdom still loved by others? The discussion in the live broadcast room was unconsciously biased, and in the second home, the three of SIUN were also like chatting after dinner on the weekend. Relaxed, cozy and at ease. This kind of quiet and peaceful scene has not appeared for a long time, and it makes people unconsciously think of some good memories. When Gongsun left her in Langxing, she should have been a lively and lovely young lady, right? That's it? I'm full. Gongsunli casually threw the leg of mutton that he had bitten a few bites in his hand to the giant crocodile, and the giant crocodile directly opened his mouth to bite it, chewed the whole leg of lamb twice, and then went down. Then he lay on the ground like a sculpture and did not move. The two brothers, Foskey and Mullen, who watched it, were amazed. Siun didn't have any food reserves now, and in her precepts, there were already a lot of wild fruits and mushrooms, and as for meat, she couldn't eat much, and she usually slaughtered it fresh when she wanted to eat it. Yawn. Let's go to bed. Siun stretched his waist and walked towards a piece of ground not far away that had been cleaned by Foskey. Then the tiger skin that had been put aside for a long time in the ring was taken out by her and put on the ground, and then the whole person was directly immersed in Yo-Yo's soft hair. Looking at Gongsunli, who had fallen asleep, Foskey and Malin glanced at each other and shrugged their shoulders, and then the movement of the two eating meat was much smaller. Hey, would you like to take a shower? Mullen patted Foskey on the shoulder and asked quietly. Foskey was stunned. Where's the water? Then Mullen glanced at the giant crocodile lying there motionless. These two people, since they came to the second world, let alone take a bath, even their faces often can't be washed. Now when they talk about it, both of them suddenly feel itchy all over their bodies. You mean, let it take us? Foskey suddenly felt that this was a solution, and with the presence of a giant crocodile, the safety of the two was definitely not a problem. Let's go. Mullen immediately carried the remaining antelope meat and walked to the giant crocodile, and I have to say that the two of them were still a little scared in their hearts. The giant crocodile felt the movement around him, opened his eyes, and found that it was two small dots, staring at the two of them curiously. Malun was frightened into a cold sweat by the cold glow reflected in the golden pupils of the giant crocodile, but when he saw Gongsunli sleeping there in the distance, he had confidence again. The golden pupils and the pitch-black color of the whole body, in the middle of the night, still have a powerful shock. Compared to Mullen and Foskey, they look a little funny at this time. Come, big crocodile, you eat? Mullen put the antelope meat in his hand to the crocodile's mouth, turned around and ran, for fear that one of the crocodiles would accidentally swallow him too. Subsequently, the crocodile was not polite and ate it as soon as it opened its mouth. Big crocodile, that's how it? The giant crocodile listened to Mullen chatter as he ate. Even as Marin said, he began to feel itchy on his body, and he hadn't seen water for a day, which was quite like going to cool off. Thinking of this, the crocodile finally stopped lying on its stomach and stood up on its thick limbs. Seeing this, Malin suddenly exclaimed, and at the same time did not forget to greet Foski. Hurry up, Foski. Hee, thank you, brother crocodile, I will continue to give you barbecue meat in the future. Because of the revival of the aura, the bodies of the two have been washed by the aura, and it only takes some effort to come up to such a height. Then, the giant crocodile turned his head to look at the sleeping Gongsunli, and walked in the other direction. Don't be too long, come back early. Suddenly, a dream-like voice reached the ears of the giant crocodile through the sound of the wind, and the giant crocodile shivered unconsciously, and then looked back, indicating that he knew. And the two people on their backs didn't hear the sound just now, and they were still immersed in novelty. The giant crocodile took the two of them to a nearby river and then went back to sleep. Time flies. Morning came quickly, when the first rays of sunlight shone on Siun's face. Siun rubbed his eyes in confusion and sat up staggeringly. Awake. Good morning. In the distance, two busy figures saw Siun wake up and greeted him with a smile. A fire was burning on the ground, and there was a stone on top of it, and the middle of the stone was concave, as if it were a pot, and some mushrooms were boiling in it. This stone was sent by a bear next to it. It seemed to see Siun's doubts, and Marin explained. Siun listened with a dumb laugh, so this is the hidden benefit of the Lord of Suanwei. Where to go, there are fierce beasts to do logistics. At this moment, Foski came back with a large lotus leaf, and there was water in the lotus leaf. Wash your face and eat. Ah! Ali. The first time he called out the name Ali, Foski was still a little unaccustomed to it. Giggles. Siun suddenly couldn't hold back his laughter, and he fell asleep, but he woke up with such a status. Ha 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 ha. This coke killed me. See, others are still surviving in the wilderness, and we have become princesses. It's the palace master, it's not the princess. Ha ha ha, don't care what it is, this quality of life will go up. Oh my god. I'm more comfortable than I've ever been in Blue Star. I don't know what the expressions of the pioneers of other countries will be when they see Gongsunli's living state, ahaha. I don't know, I thought I was back in ancient times. The audience in the live broadcast room, seeing this scene, was obviously laughed at. Then, Siun didn't waste any more time, ate his meal, cleaned himself up, and Foski and Mullen also brought a little boiling water each. Now that there are conditions, naturally you can't drink those raw water casually. Then, after everything was cleaned up, Siun's hands. A golden token appeared. This is William's unused land requisition order, and with this land requisition order in hand, he is naturally going out to find trouble. You two, let's go out in the Suanwei forest, and then go out when you have the ability to protect yourself. Siun looked at the two of them and said lightly, and the expressions of Foski and Mullen were suddenly a little lost. They didn't know that this was the rhythm of people going solo. After all, the two of them could only drag their feet now. It's better not to separate, and then just help me gather materials, and if you go out, remember to keep an eye on the other pioneers. Siun said to herself, this is all part of her plan. By the way, little crocodile, you have to stay. The giant crocodile lying next to him was suddenly stunned. It was already fantasizing about how to eat and drink spicy food with Gongsunli after going out, and let it stay. Now that this forest is mine, and I'm not here, you have to stay and watch over the house, and if any other messy force dares to break in, you can do it for me. Wait until I have to vacate and seal you a mysterious official position. Siun's tone at this time was full of gangsterism. But I have to say that the effect is really good, and the giant crocodile feels that his blood is ignited. Then Vyang Palace, you have to go back and have a look when you have time. Suddenly, Siun remembered the demon clan, and she always felt that she couldn't get rid of the demon clan in this Vyang Palace, so she said it casually. All right, I'm leaving. After Sun finished speaking, he didn't give a few people time to react, and directly turned around and sat on Yu-Yu's back in a chic manner. Yo-Yo ran quickly, soaring into the air amid the envious gazes of the two Fuskies. Demon Cave. Sun muttered in his mouth, and then tightened the land requisition order in his hand. This time, she must figure out what the demon clan is, as well as the world distribution of this second home. You have to figure out why the mystery rewards you get are all guys in the king game. National Games online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 94. Wow. In the distant sky, a small black dot suddenly appeared, and this small black dot was Sun and Yu-Yu. Okay, Yo-Yo, let's go down and rest. Sun said thoughtfully. She had already felt an ominous aura, the same as the aura on the Batman before. It's just that this breath is much stronger. Obviously, this place is not far from that demon cave. Smack. Yo-Yo stepped on the grass steadily. Although it can fly now, it is obviously not proficient, or rather, it has just reached the standard of being able to fly. Before taking off, you must have enough runs, not to mention, you must also stop and rest every time you fly. However, this speed is still much faster than in the past. In the words of the Blue Star audience, it is already amazing to be able to fly without wings. Now Sun and Yu-Yu have already left the boundary of the Suanwei forest, but the scene outside the forest is no different from the inside, except that there are many fewer trees, and the grassland has begun to become the main theme. And on the way, Sun also saw several groups of pioneers from other countries, but she didn't care. According to the mysterious voice of the second home, now is the time for the pioneers to make rapid progress. The whole world is changing dramatically. Indeed, there are already quite a few pioneers who have gained some extremely useful or powerful superpowers. For example, the ability to throw fireballs casually, or the ability to control water, and some have opened some treasures in treasure chests. And Sun found that the things he obtained now would generally not be announced by the world, and he probably began to protect his privacy. However, because of the existence of barrage, even if you can only send 10 messages a week, it is enough to grasp the dynamics of others. As more and more people have mastered supernatural powers, the process of exploration by pioneers in various countries is also greatly accelerated. It's just that no matter how fast he is, the speed of relying on two legs to hurry is still not as fast as Sun. At this time, she had been away from the Suanwei forest for 2 days. All right, brother crocodile. On the border of the Suanwei forest, downstream of the river, the giant crocodile is in the river, and Foski and Mullen stand on its back. Hey! With the strength of his feet, Fauski jumped directly to the shore more than 10 meters away from here. And Mullen was even more miraculous, seeing that he stretched out his hand, and the land on the shore actually extended out automatically, and then he walked along the extended land to the shore. Brother crocodile, let's say goodbye here. We're going outside to help Ali find materials. You have to take care of your home. Next time I come back, I'll give you another barbecue. The two of them waved at the crocodile, and then reluctantly walked out of the forest. In the Suanwei forest, there is nothing to do with the two of them at all, because the fierce beasts in the forest will collect materials by themselves and hand them over to the giant crocodile. So with the help of the giant crocodile, they had to leave after gaining some abilities. After all, Gongsunli had a task assigned to them. The giant crocodile looked at the backs of the two of them and slowly sank into the water. It was going to the foot of the Suanwei mountain range to guard the Suanwei temple and the Vyang palace, and there were dozens of fierce beasts roasted by the two of Fusky waiting for it to eat. Oh my god, I think the beasts of this world are cute now. Come on, just say that crocodiles are cute, other beasts, it's still like that. It's great, the friendship between our three countries lasts forever, it's really good. The people of Zyarkuo, Thank you Xiaoguo for helping us. That's right, it's the same with my country, but wherever it is useful to us, please speak. On the Blue Star, the Triple Alliance is even stronger, and even the Lord of the Xia Kingdom did not expect that when Gongsun was away, the giant crocodile could also help the two. Gongsunli, he is really a heroine among women. The lord of the country exclaimed and set his eyes on Gongsunli, who had started again. The demon cave, a place with a very strange shape. From a distance, this place is composed of countless caves, and it is really like its name, the demon cave. On its periphery, there is also a wall, even if this wall is dilapidated. But that monstrous demonic aura looked extremely terrifying, and the cloudless sky seemed to be contaminated with demonic chi and turned dark red when it arrived here. Not even the sun shines in. And most of the creatures in the demon cave are only fierce beasts with human characteristics, just like Batman. There are those with the body of a human and the head of a cow, and there are those with 3 heads and 6 arms, and you can even see that there are underground races, and maybe there are other races living in places that are invisible under the underground. To put it simply, it's a city, and it's not small, and most of it is divided by region and race. If there are living people here, I am afraid that they will be scared to death. Sun noticed this place from afar. After all, under a clean sky, this filth looked too obvious. It's hard not to notice. It's just that the expression on Gongsunli's face is a little wrong now. I feel the breath of the demon clan. Gongsunli frowned and muttered in his mouth. This was the first time she had personally seen the demonic aura in the bat's mouth, and it was indeed more similar to her, but it was completely different. But there's another breath. It's a demon seed. Gongsunli's eyes widened, her face was full of incredulity. She couldn't feel wrong, because that breath was exactly the same as the breath on her body. The Batman said that the demon lord of the demon cave is a member of the demon clan, but why does she feel the existence of the demon seed? The most important thing is, there is a demon seed in this world. Sun unconsciously clenched his fists. He had never been so nervous when he rewarded himself with skin fragments and equipment before. But now she is nervous, and she doesn't know if it's Gongsunli's own reason or her own reason. She didn't expect to feel something familiar to her here, considering that she had traveled over the past 5 years, and this was the first time this had happened. Suanwei Forest, Yo-Yo, Demon Seed. Could it be that this world has something to do with the King Continent? Yo-Yo, a little faster. Gongsunli thought of this, and couldn't help urging. For the first time, a solemn look leaked from her delicate little face. Of course, it was not because she felt danger, on the contrary, she was very sure that there was nothing in the demon cave that could threaten her. However, she wanted to know too much what kind of world this was, including what was going on with her own time crossing and transformation. What's wrong with Gongsunli? Is this a problem? It's the first time I've seen her look so solemn. I don't know why, but I'm distressed to see her like this. Did she find anything? In Xiaoguo's live broadcast room, Gongsunli's expression naturally couldn't escape the audience who had been staring at the screen. But I don't know why she was fine just now, and now it's like something big has happened. Finally, Yo-Yo is getting closer and closer to the demon cave. Gongsunli finally saw the appearance of the demon cave clearly, but at this time, her little face was completely covered with shock. How is that possible? Gongsunli exclaimed in surprise. The demon cave turned out to be the Thousand Cave City. National Games online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 95. Thousand Caves, what is that? Recorder, write down the name. What do you mean? What did Gongsunli mean by what he just said? Could it be that she had been to the second home? No, she wouldn't have been so surprised if she had been there. Because Sun was quick to speak, the experts of Blue Star quickly analyzed something. But these are no longer important, and even the Lord of the Xia Kingdom has prevented these people from continuing to dig deeper. That's right, it doesn't matter, the second home is opened, and it is enough that she is the representative of the Xia Kingdom. But Gongsunli was still looking at the city below that was shrouded in demonic energy with a cute face. She has been galloping in the king game for nearly 5 years, so it can be said that she knows quite well. The demon cave below here is the Thousand Cave City, which is known as the Holy Land of Scholars. The caves that now look like dwellings are where the Thousand Cave City once kept its books. Isn't Thousand Cave City in the desert of the clouds? Isn't the city broken by the demon seed? Isn't there a Garo here? Guardian of the Great Wall? A series of questions appeared in Siun's mind. She didn't know why the city far away in the desert of the clouds appeared on the edge of the Suanwei forest. I don't know why the Thousand Cave City, which was invaded by the demon seed, became the overlord of the demon cave. For a moment, several figures flashed through her mind, and it was the shadow of Garo and the Great Wall guards. What the hell is going on? At this time, Yo-Yu had already landed outside the demon cave, and the city wall was in front of Siun. Isn't it a demon cave? It's a little strange to be quiet. Because of the perennial demonic aura here, Siun's perception also had a big problem, and now she could only feel the demonic aura and a trace of the breath of the demon seed. But she couldn't feel the breath of the beast at all. It's not normal, according to what the Batman said. This demon cave should only be the demon lord is a demon clan, and the other members should be some fierce beasts with relatively high strength and intelligence. But why? I didn't feel the breath of the beast at all. Standing at the gate of the city, Siun frowned. Then take Yo-Yo and walk towards the demon cave city. Then, the scene inside the demon cave surprised Siun. Corpses, corpses everywhere, corpses of all kinds. They are all humanoid beasts like Batman, and some even wear simple armor. There was obviously no living hole in the entire demon cave, and there were ruins and some flames that had not burned out everywhere, as if it had just experienced a battlefield of a big war. As far as the eye could see, apart from the corpse, the billowing black smoke from the burning flames, the smell of blood in the air was covered by heavier demonic chi before it had time to disperse. Apparently a horrific massacre had just taken place here. And no more than an hour before Gongsun left. Oh my god! Is this a battle between the forces of the native world of the second home? It's not just a battle? This is directly wiped out, and there is no one left alive. Cruel. Fortunately, I live in Blue Star, and now I suddenly feel that life is not easy for these fierce beasts. It's not good. Gongsunli just came in, this one looks like he just died, so will the other side not leave yet? If it hits, it will be bad. Damn, I don't dare to look at it. Blue Star, everyone was stunned by the scene in front of them. For those who lived in peaceful times, the scene of the demon cave now seemed like the end of the world. Siun walked cautiously on the streets of the demon cave. At this time, the entire buildings of the demon cave had been completely destroyed, but some of the buildings were obviously not broken recently. Wait a minute, this city. In the official live broadcast room, Han Li shouted. Why is there any trace of human life in this city? But it must have been a long time ago. It seems that this city was very prosperous at the beginning, but I don't know why it was occupied by these fierce beasts and transformed into a demon cave. I'm pretty sure that there were definitely humans living here before, or rather, this city was originally built by humans, but then it was overrun by fierce beasts. The more Professor Han Li spoke, the more excited he became. His face turned red. He found traces of human life in his second home, even if it was very long, but this was definitely a major discovery. You know, if there are still humans living in a second home, then they Blue Star can be regarded as invaders. The most important thing is that looking at the city and speculating on how prosperous it was before, civilization is definitely not low. For a while, because of Han Li's speech, The audience in the live broadcast room was dumbfounded, and it attracted countless foreign scientists to study. But it's a pity that the live broadcast screen follows SIUN, and they can only see where SIUN goes, and SIUN doesn't care about the traces of human life that they want to see. Nonsense, this is the city of 1,000 caves. Not to mention anything else, let's just say that if this 1,000 cave city is true, just a random book here is enough for you to study Blue Star for 800 years. It was the culmination of countless scholars. Ali, be careful, there are traces of human life here, and I don't know if there is any danger in the city now. Gongsunli walked on the street and saw the message sent to her by the lord of the country, and the corners of his mouth hooked up a smile, but he didn't take it to heart at all. In this world, no, these two worlds, no one knows the 1,000 cave city better than her. Unconsciously, Siun had already walked to the interior of the 1,000 cave city. On top of a mountain wall, there are countless caves, which look very shocking, but now, on this mountain wall, there are corpses of fierce beasts. These are all done by the demon seed. Gongsunli lowered his head slightly, not knowing what he was thinking. She didn't know why the demon seed would do such a thing, and the road she had walked along was nothing but the residual demon seed breath. She didn't perceive the existence of a demon seed. In the live broadcast room, looking at the extremely terrible picture in front of them, many people had goosebumps, and Rao's soldier King Huang Qi was also a little uncomfortable. After all, this picture is beyond people's worldview in the eyes of Blue Star. At least 100,000, at least 100,000 corpses. All of them were killed. Huang Qi said in shock. Even if it's a fight between the natives within the second home, it's too unacceptable to say anything other than ferocious. Huang Qi's tone was a little sad. In Blue Star, it was not without bloody scenes, but such a wanton killing would be resisted by the whole world. But this kind of thing happens in the second home, which is not chilling. And in the future, it will open the passage of the two worlds, and if it is killed by the fierce beasts of the second home into the Blue Star, the consequences will be unimaginable. It's a bunch of emotionless creatures. Sure enough, humans are still more benevolent. Look at the corpse on the ground, and look at the size of a juvenile beast. At least 100,000. Because most of the fierce beasts in the demon cave are the same as humans, but their heads are different, so the people on the Blue Star can easily resonate. It's just that no one noticed that Gongsunli was a little wrong at this time. Mustard human life. Demon seed. Gongsunli touched his ears, then shook his head slightly. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. National Games online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 96. Immediately, he no longer cared about the messy corpses outside, and touched the door of the closed city lord's hall with both hands. She wasn't going to go to the grottos, there wasn't a need, in her perception, there wasn't a single living mouth here. Squeak. There was a loud sound, and the door of the special material of the main hall was pushed open. A beam of sunlight shone into the dark hall, and a slender figure appeared at the door, and under the illumination of the sun, Gongsunli's shadow was stretched extremely long. The hall is very empty, and at first glance, it looks like there is no sunlight all year round, and it is extremely gloomy. Especially the top of the main hall, even if the door is opened, it is still pitch black, and it looks like the mouth of a giant beast, which is soul-stirring. Oh my god. It's like watching a horror movie. It would be nice if it were a horror movie, it's real. It's so dark inside, even if the door is fully open, you can't see what's inside. Doesn't this hall even have windows? It's all sealed, these things should like the dark. It seems that these fierce beasts that originally lived here are not good things, but they have been destroyed by more powerful forces. No, 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 I don't dare to look at it. Isn't Gongsun afraid of her? I think I should let the crocodile come over, it must love this place. Look, there's going to be a great terror coming soon, just eat your vanguard in one bite. The woman of Xia Kingdom is really looking for death. I admit that her teleportation is very perverted, but in this kind of place, those indescribable things are even more terrifying. Even if there is danger, this woman can escape, and this divine deer must not be able to escape. Ha ha ha, hurry up and die, the vanguard of our country has gained extraordinary abilities, and when she dies, we will be the first. In Xiaoguo's live broadcast room, after the initial shock and fear, a large number of foreign viewers began a vicious curse. Who is not afraid of this scene? The audience in Xia didn't care about what they said, and they raised their hearts to their throats one by one. Smack! Gongsunli stepped into the main hall with one foot, but there seemed to be water on the ground, and he heard the sound of stepping into the water. Gongsunli felt the ground under his shoes and frowned in disgust. Yo, you better light it up, it's so dirty in here. When Yo heard Gongsunli's words, a white light suddenly lit up on her body, and this white light also illuminated the situation under Gongsunli's feet. Blood. Blood. The blood that flows here. Vomit. The live broadcast room suddenly vomited, and it turned out that Gongsunli was not stepping on water at all, but stepping on blood. But because of You's illumination, Sun was also able to see the scene in the hall at this time. The main hall was very large, and there were 8 pillars on each side of the main hall, which looked extremely majestic, but now all of them were splattered with blood. On the ground, like outside, there were the corpses of ferocious beasts lying everywhere. Directly in front of Sun, that is, in the center of the back of the main hall, there was a throne, which looked quite magnificent, but Sun could see at a glance that the throne was made of the bones and fur of fierce beasts. It's not hard to imagine that this must be where the demon lord in the bat's mouth sits. This hall is where the demon lord stays every day. And you can see that there were windows in this hall, but they were completely blocked at this time. Bang, bang, bang. As Sun and Yu walked in, suddenly a few sounds sounded, and blue light lit up under the 8 pillars. It's still swaying like a candle. It also adds a bit of weirdness to this hall. Buzz. At this moment, a meter in front of the throne, a blue gem-shaped thing slowly rose. It's just that this gem seems to have a base, and unlike the blue light under the pillar, the light emitted by this gem gives people a sense of sacredness, and it is not simple to look at. At this moment, the gem was suspended in the air, constantly spinning in place. Bad luck is coming again, and a sapphire is harvested. Ha ha ha, good fellow, this gem can't be the reason for the destruction of this demon cave, right? Didn't find it? In the live broadcast room, the audience thought that this gem was a treasure that they had never seen before, but apparently they all guessed wrong. Sun's eyes widened when she saw this gem, because she felt something familiar. Our gem. Gongsun twitched from the corner of his mouth and walked quickly towards the gem. Anyway, the shoes were already dirty, so she didn't care. It's really, exactly the same. Gongsunli almost put his face on the gem, and under the blue light, his eyelashes looked a little cute. Then he stretched out a finger to touch the gem, and the gem didn't move. It's as if there is a miraculous force that has fixed the gem in its place. If I destroy you, is there no more 1,000 Cave City? Gongsunli stared at the jewel and said gluttonously. She knew very well that if this thing cracked, the game would fail. The gem seemed to understand her words, and the light flickered twice. Then a light curtain appeared in front of Sun's eyes. But this light curtain was different from all the light curtains she had seen before. This light curtain, bare, nothing, but in the very center of the light curtain, there is a depression. Looking at that depression, Gongsunli instantly understood. As soon as he flipped his hand, a golden token appeared, which was a land requisition order. The shape of the land requisition order is just right with the depression on the light curtain. National Games online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 97. Nanny. What does it mean to occupy the Devil's Cave? Damn. How could it be so easy? Isn't there supposed to be an ominous person who came out and ate her? Hey. Why is this guy so lucky? She just finished killing here, and she came over to pick up the leak. It's opportunistic, isn't it? Even if you want to occupy it, you can't do it, right? No, what is she? A thief that she picked up. Blue Star, people all over the world couldn't believe the scene in front of them. Indeed, it has been a long time since I have seen Gongsunli's unfortunate luck, but now this matter is a little too strange. Another native force in the second home has just destroyed this place, and you are just in time to catch up? Where is such a good thing? You know, the other vanguard is still complacent about killing a second-order beast, so why can you get the territory without much effort? The most important thing is that she already has a territory. If she is occupying it once, how can other countries play? The entire Blue Star, especially the beautiful country alliance, was already unbalanced at this time. Because before, looking at the revival of the aura, there was still a little hope of surpassing the Xia kingdom, but after a few days, the soldiers only had a little superpower. But if you don't have your own fiefdom, you won't have a reward against the sky, then your national strength will not go up, and this gap is big, and you really can't see hope. However, at present, in the second homeland, no one can stop Sun from doing things. Even if there are natives who can stop him, he has not come out now. Smack. Gongsunli pressed the land requisition order to the groove, although this time the groove was illusory, but just like the entity, there was still a crisp sound. In an instant, the entire blue light curtain instantly turned golden, and even the crystal base turned golden. The originally pitch-black hall was instantly rendered by golden light. Ding. Honorable Lord of Suanwei, please name your second realm. Name, Thousand Cave City. Sun didn't even think about it, and said it directly. As her words landed, the golden light instantly shone out, and the original demonic energy of the demon cave was gradually dissipating. A light curtain map slowly unfolded, and Sun knew that this was going to make her transform. At the same time, thousands of miles away in the other direction, the GI was also holding a land requisition order in his hand at this time. Ha 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 ha. God forbid. Our beautiful country is finally going to have its own fiefdom. This was the token that the three of them had obtained with great effort, and Yanagi was obviously very happy as he stood behind the GI. William, who was standing side by side with Yanagi, had a strange glint in his eyes. Ha ha ha. Let's go, help me take the first piece of territory, and I'll cover you in the future. The GI turned around and patted the two of them on the shoulder, looking extremely excited. Look at my country, my GI is the child of destiny. The soldier thought of it in his heart, but he didn't know that there were not many people in the live broadcast room of the beautiful country now, and they were all attracted by Gongsunli. Ding. Congratulations to Gongsunli, the pioneer of the Xia Kingdom, for successfully using the land requisition order to obtain a fief, Thousand Cave City. Congratulations to Gongsunli, the pioneer of the Xia Kingdom, for successfully using the land requisition order to obtain a fief, Thousand Cave City. Congratulations to Gongsunli, the pioneer of the Xia Kingdom, for successfully using the land requisition order to obtain a fief, Thousand Cave City. Congratulations to Gongsunli, the pioneer of the Xia Kingdom, for successfully using the land requisition order to obtain a fief, Thousand Cave City. Like the first time, the 7 consecutive world announcements were announced as if all over the world. But now, everyone basically knows that these 7 world announcements are actually to let those forces in the second home know which places have masters now. It is only through the announcement of the world that the natives of this second home will recognize your identity. Siun naturally understands better. Thousands of miles away, the figures of the soldiers and others were stunned in place like sculptures. Dang Chang. The land requisition order in the soldier's hand fell to the ground, and the smile on his face disappeared. How can it be so fast? For the first time, the GI felt a hint of bitterness in his mouth. However, what shocked him had just begun. After all, the reward given when he occupied the fiefdom for the first time was very rebellious, so what should be rewarded for the second time? Almost all the people around the world stayed in Xiaoguo's live broadcast room, and they secretly felt that Xiaoguo was about to transform this time. Sun Li, the pioneer of the Xia Kingdom, temporarily assumes the position of the city lord of Thousand Caves. Xia Kingdom Dragon Vein Ascension. Ding. Xiaoguo's Dragon Vein level breakthrough. Reach the low level of the Yellow Order. The average life expectancy of all citizens in Xia Kingdom is at 3 years. Intelligence add 10 for all citizens of Xia Kingdom. Reward 50 large-scale mineral resources in Xia Kingdom. A series of reward announcements directly shocked everyone. In the sky above the Xia Kingdom, the dragon vein was once again incarnated into a golden dragon and was born, and then swam in the sky above the Xia Kingdom, and from time to time there were 2 dragon groans, which seemed extremely happy. This. Is this a reward? In Xiaoguo's live broadcast room, a barrage floated through for a long time, and it was still a question sentence. Oh my god. This is the benefit that Gongsunli has won for our Xia Kingdom this time. Damn, this Nima reward is too rebellious, right? I don't even understand it. But at this time, the world announcement sounded again. Congratulations to the Xia Kingdom, included in the Transcendent Realm. Transcendent Realm. The whole blue star, blown up. The dragon vein level has broken through, which means that our dragon vein is no longer the dragon vein before, and it has entered the transcendental. Doesn't this mean that our country is the future immortal country? Yes, we are now at the lower level of the Yellow Order, but I don't know why I suddenly have a lot of knowledge in my mind. This is only the lowest level of the transcendent dragon vein, but it is very different from before. Ha ha ha. Are we now considered to have entered the immortal dynasty? I don't know, I don't understand, but have you noticed, this time the lifespan is not added by 3 years, but by the average life expectancy plus 3 years. This means that in the future, we are upgrading, and all of our lifespans will increase. And there's more. Intelligence directly plus 10, ha ha ha. I didn't have to work hard to get into college. It's so perverted. I just read some questions that I don't usually understand at all, but now it feels so simple. Kai Menzi. This is the promotion of our entire race. Our Xia Kingdom is just around the corner. Gongsunli, invincible. Gongsunli, invincible. In the entire Xiaoguo live broadcast room, all Xiaoguo audiences chanted. They found that their heads were as if they had been enlightened in an instant, and a lot of knowledge appeared in their minds. For example, the level of the dragon vein is divided into the 4 orders of heaven and earth Xianhuang, and they are now the lowest level, but in the blue star where the aura retreats, even if it is the lowest level of the dragon vein. It can also be called the realm of immortals, not to mention, there is also an increase of 10 in intelligence. This is equivalent to the Xia Kingdom's takeoff is only a matter of time, especially in the absence of extraordinary strength of the blue star. It will not be a problem that the Xia Kingdom's technology will be hundreds of years ahead of other countries. These are all brought by Gongsunli. God, intelligence is going up so fast. It's against the theory of evolution. Impossible. If we follow this situation, their Xia Kingdom will soon suppress us in all directions. What's impossible about that? Excuse me, we're already ahead of you now, you know. The scientists in the future will all come from our Xia Kingdom. Stand aside. People in other countries now don't know what to say except envy and jealousy. It's outrageous. In the case of the extreme scarcity of Blue Star resources, Xiaoguo has shaken off the shackles and entered a new era. It can even grow at a high speed right away. How can this not make people blush? And Xiong and Wu are extremely glad for their original decision at this time. These two countries have completely determined their next path. That is, to maintain the relationship with Xiaoguo well, even if he can only drink soup, he has to make Xiaoguo happy. Because from now on, the situation of Blue Star has been very differentiated, and there are only two countries in the world now, that is, Xiaoguo and others. Did you see that? We have already been notified just now, saying that we are going to build a sculpture for Gongsunli. Ha ha ha. The great man who started a new generation. Must be built. In fact, we have been building it for a long time, and it has already started to be built when Gongsun left the spring of life. It must be built. To be offered, our Xia people will have a much longer life expectancy in the future, and now many old people don't go to the temple, just thinking that when the sculpture is built, they will worship their grandson in the future. I'm already selling small sculptures of Gongsunli on the internet. I want to invite one home and worship every day. Really, I'm going to buy it too. It, sold out, all out of stock. In the territory of the Xia Kingdom, all the people regard Gongsunli as a believer and a person who opens the road to the immortal kingdom. Now in the eyes of the people of the Xia Kingdom, especially some old people, Gongsunli is no different from the legendary gods. What? Do you think it's an exaggeration? Okay, then you say it can increase your lifespan and make you live longer. Isn't this a god? It's just that this deity is a little young and a little silly. Yes, it's silly. Gongsunli looked at his palm with a cute expression. Just like when he first occupied the Suanwei forest, Gongsunli's hand was filled with a golden glow, which looked like a phantom. I'm a shooter, can I get other equipment? Gongsunli was a little suspicious of himself, because this equipment was not right with her, but this equipment was absolutely against the sky. Huiyu. Yes, the phantom above Gongsunli's palm is one of the king's equipment, Huiyu. I saw that the golden light on the phantom disappeared, but it still had a bright brilliance, which was brought by Huiyu. Huiyu, be absolutely invincible for 5 seconds, immune to any attacks and debuffs, cooldown, 6 hours. Warm reminder, use Huiyu well, it will become a life-saving weapon in your hands, and it will have an unimaginable role at critical moments. Sun looked at Huiyu's introduction and nodded clearly. Sure enough, it was different from the game. But I have to say that the horror of this equipment, even if the world is destroyed, then she has 5 seconds more time than others. Not to mention in the current second home, it is estimated that there are not many opportunities to use Huiyu. But in any case, this is Gongsunli's first piece of defensive equipment. Well, for the time being, it is counted as defensive equipment. Although it's not right with her, the effect is not to be underestimated, not to mention the cooldown time, it's really not long. After all, it's not a game now. Gongsunli didn't hesitate, stretched out his finger and touched it gently. The phantom disappeared in an instant, and she herself felt another extra power in her body. It's amazing. For the first time, Gongsunli felt a sense of security, which was the sense of security given by Huiyu. All right, you go back. After checking the other things, Sun gently patted the blue crystal that had been spinning in front of him. Huiyu. The crystal disappeared in place in an instant, and this was the difference between Thousand Cave City and other places. This blue crystal is the life bloodline. If the crystal is broken, the entire Thousand Cave City will cease to exist in an instant, and even the ruins will not be left. However, it can hide itself. Moreover, Sun has now completely transformed the Thousand Cave City. Inside and out, it's completely different from before. The original throne made of beast bones and fur has been replaced by a gilded throne with a pink furry blanket made of unknown materials. It looks majestic and has a hint of enchanting atmosphere, and at first glance it is the female king sitting. The whole hall is no longer black, but splendid, and the 16 stone pillars are also inlaid with gold edges, with cyan floor tiles, which looks extremely solemn. This hall is now like the palace used by the ancient emperors when they went to court. Gongsunli stepped on the green bricks on the ground and made a dull sound. Walking out of the main hall, it is a snow-white railing made of white marble, and then down is the steps, a staircase hundreds of meters long. It is hard to believe that this place is still like a purgatory on earth, and there are corpses of fierce beasts everywhere. Standing at the door of the main hall and looking down, a kind of pride arises spontaneously, and people can't help but feel a sense of accomplishment. Yes, even Sun himself felt a momentum in his heart that looked down on the world. Because of the improvement of the dragon vein, the dragon chi on her own body has also been feedback, and the eyeliner around the big eye seems to have a faint golden color. At this moment, it seems that there is really a bit of empress. Have real-world countries changed dramatically? Sun walked down the white jade steps, looking at the Thousand Cave City after his own transformation, and at the same time looking at the changes in the real world that the Lord of the Xia Kingdom told her. The entire Thousand Cave City has now completely changed into its original appearance, except for the huge palace renovated by Gongsunli, of course. Other places, such as the library on the mountain wall and the market area, were all restored according to the appearance of the Thousand Cave City in her memory. Oh my God! Just 10 minutes ago, this place was in ruins. Looking at the rejuvenated city, a shocking voice sounded in the live broadcast room. Because Gongsunli is visiting Thousand Cave City, the audience in the live broadcast room can see it. This city is very suitable for human habitation. Yes, there are some houses that I like very much. I feel that this is what Gongsunli rebuilt according to the standards of human housing. I don't know when the world announcement will start, but I hope I can settle down in Thousand Cave City. You've drunk fake wine, haven't you, brother? You can't drink with a dog. The atmosphere in the live broadcast room gradually became peaceful, but Han Li, who had been in the official live broadcast room, sighed regretfully. The cloth giant here seems to have been remodeled according to the ruins left behind in this castle, but it's a pity. It is indeed possible that the original appearance of the city has been restored after this transformation, but the traces left by human beings are no longer to be found. Because of the improvement of his intelligence, Han Li originally thought that he could analyze some things in the city, but unexpectedly, he lost those clues. Unconsciously, Sun had walked to the outermost part of the Thousand Cave City, and the most attractive thing here was the magnificent city wall. Yo-yo, go up. Sun sat on Yo-yo's back and flew up the city wall. Outside the city wall, there was an endless grassland. It's funny that a city that should be in the desert is on the grassland. Feeling the oncoming breeze, Gongsunli grinned, although he didn't find any clues about the demon seed, but now this Thousand Cave City, which has not been peaceful for a long time, is hers. It's just that she didn't know that in the depths of the grassland that she couldn't see, a group of pioneers stood in place in a daze. What do you mean? We just walked out of Gongsunli's territory, and this is another part of her territory. Hurry up, and in a moment she will come with the giant crocodile to drive people away. How unlucky. Why is she so fast? These pioneers were the wave in the Suanwei forest at that time, and they didn't expect that they would run day and night, and finally run out of Gongsunli's territory and into the grassland. This grassland has also become Gongsunli's territory, and they can only continue to run in a different direction. National Games online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 98. A city, the existing city of the original second home can be occupied. That is to say, as long as you have the strength, As long as there are enough land requisition orders, you can even go to find those natives to defeat them and then grab those resources. The second home is still a world without rules, and whoever is strong can be the boss. Blue Star, because Sun occupied the Thousand Cave City, caused a series of analyses, and various countries were analyzing the situation in the second homeland. And the beautiful country has already told the three soldiers the approximate location of the Thousand Cave City. I want them to avoid a little grandson. Otherwise, I am afraid that this land requisition order will not be guaranteed again, and it will be a real loss. And on the Xia side, he naturally told Sun the news that the soldiers had received the land requisition order. She can't grasp whether she goes to rob Xiaguo or not, but this kind of important information must be told to Sun. When Sun heard the news, a gleam flashed in his eyes. There is no faster way to get this thing than to grab it. It's just that. She can't leave this Thousand Cave City now, because the city is not the same as the Suanwei Temple, in a position that no one can go to. This place is surrounded by grasslands, and is typical of areas where enemies can be attacked in all directions. Without some defense, she was reluctant to leave. Those pioneers are easy to say, and they are not worried that they will come in, but the natives of this world are not easy to say, not to mention that this was a demon cave before, and the feng shui of this Thousand Cave City is definitely not a peaceful place. Not to mention, there was a fight here not long ago. Thinking of this, Gongsunli immediately jumped off the city wall. And then I came to the underground secret room of the Castle Lord's Hall. According to Sun's understanding in his previous life, this secret room should have been the place where the largest library in Thousand Cave City was located, and every book in it was the crystallization of the wisdom of several generations. And there should be 2 teleportation arrays in it. One teleportation array is going directly to the vicinity of Chang'an City, and the other teleportation array is going to the Jinting Kingdom that has long been destroyed. It's just that in the Thousand Cave City here, the secret room still exists, but I don't see the 2 teleportation arrays. The current secret room is full of all kinds of materials and drawings. This was all rewarded by Gongsunli when he was determined to become the city lord of Thousand Cave City just now. It's just that there is no world announcement. These materials seem to be very simple, but fortunately, there are more of them. Without much hesitation, Gongsunli took out the blueprints of the defense tower directly from the Na ring. Then start synthesizing. This second home is just this benefit, no matter what, as long as the materials are complete, you can directly combine them, and you can learn the cheats directly. It's just that because there is no manpower, I can only operate it myself. So in the dark secret room, a slender figure was busy. From time to time, a few blue rays of light flashed. At this time, several soldiers thousands of miles away also encountered difficulties. They found that there were more and more fierce beasts in their vicinity, but fortunately, now the 3 of them were no longer their original selves and could still deal with them. At this time they were under siege by wolves. Zheng. A cold light flashed, and I saw the Tai Dao in Lu Xiaosheng's hand out of the sheath. This Tai Dao was opened by him in the past few days, and compared with the one that was seized by Sun before, it was obviously a grade higher. Under the sunlight, the blade reflects a dazzling light, and it is extraordinary at first sight. If it weren't for the terrible clothes he was wearing, maybe he really had a bit of a master's demeanor. It's a pity that he looks like a flower child now. And the GI standing at the front had 2 water balls in his hands, which looked very wonderful. At this time, the eyes of the 2 were fixed on the wolves surrounding them. William's eyes flickered behind the 2, and his eyes looked at the 2 from time to time with a hint of inexplicability, but there was a sharp aura looming on his hands, which was William's own superpower. Unlike opening the box, this is his own awakening. He is a master of swordsmanship, and by chance, he actually found that he has an extra breath in his body. He was free to control the aura in his body over any object, which would become as sharp as a sword. Now, he contained the sword chi in his body in his hand, and that fierce feeling could definitely strangle these wild wolves. It's just that it looks like he's being protected behind by GIs and Yanagi Shida. William, you don't have extraordinary abilities, remember to follow me later. The GI's voice rang out and reached William's ears, because the three of them were already allied in Blue Star, so he had to take care of the rest of the team. Even if it's just face, you have to see it. Obviously, the GI and Yanagi had no idea that William had now awakened his superpowers on his own. Yes, in the second home, no one has yet awakened their own superpowers, William is the first, and no one knows about it at all. Until now, everyone thought that William was just an ordinary person. As everyone knows, William's combat power at this moment is the highest among the three. Don't worry, I'm safe with your protection. The sword chi in William's hand dissipated, and he looked at the soldier with a smile. Protect the tokens. The GI nodded at him, ready to attack the wolves. William reached out and touched the position of his chest, where it was the land requisition order that the soldier had gotten. In order to deepen the alliance between several countries, the beautiful country even handed over the land requisition order to William. This also made the Eagle Sauce Kingdom even more desperate. After all, it was courageous to put such an important thing in the hands of an ordinary person. Hurry up, I'll keep this land requisition order for you. A pink figure flashed through William's mind, and for a moment William was stunned. He fantasized that the girl would one day smile at him, and he would die without regrets. Hey, what are you thinking? Suddenly, the voice of the GI interrupted William's fantasy. Only then did William come back to his senses, only to see that the wolves surrounding them had all fallen to the ground, obviously dead. And some wolves looked a little wet on their heads, as if they had drowned, and it was obvious that this was the ability of the GI. It's okay, thank you, let's go quickly, there's a lot of movement here. Okay. Let's get out of here quickly, I guess soon we will have our own fiefdom, ha ha ha. Although the GI felt that something was wrong with William, he didn't think much of it. At this time, he was bent on occupying the land and becoming the lord of a city. It's just, where is it so easy? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. National Games online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 99. The grassland, the city of 1,000 caves, and the secret room with blue light flickering finally returned to calm. Gongsunli clapped his hands, picked up the two collars on the ground, and walked out of the underground secret room with a proud expression. These two collars were turned out by her in the pile of materials. What is it called? The magic pet collar can be made bigger and smaller, and the beast needs to be willing to be able to put it on. After wearing it, even if it is your servant, even if you are thousands of miles away, you can talk. And every word and deed of the beast will follow your guidance, but the only downside is that this circle is a one-time thing. As long as you choose the beast and put it on, you can't take it off, and if the beast dies, the collar disappears with it. This kind of thing is quite precious, because it has been a long time, Sun has seen this kind of thing for the first time, and in the future, as the strength of the pioneers increases, there will be more and more collars. But now, it's an absolute rarity in the West, and it just so happens that Sun can use it. The giant crocodile is now guarding the Suanwei forest, and Sun has no way to reach the situation in the Suanwei forest at any time. If he puts this ring on it, it will be equivalent to a telephone. Sun wanted to put a collar on the giant crocodile, but he was really helpless, because she had signed a contract with Yo-Yo before, and she and Yo-Yo could communicate with her divine thoughts. But obviously, this contract is not for every beast, or the giant crocodile has already been made. I have to go back. Gongsunli's brows furrowed slightly. This territory was too big, even she felt a little far away. However, fortunately, the current Thousand Cave city is not without a little defensive capability at all. Sun was on top of the city wall now, and he saw the city wall that was still bare just now. At this time, the defense towers were already full, and Sun didn't calculate how many defense towers he had made at all. Anyway, he just put one on one. After consuming all the materials in the secret room, there are two more defense towers, which can only be placed in the NA ring. It's just embarrassing that this defense tower needs energy to even activate, and this energy is an ore called magic crystal. Fortunately, the magic crystal was also in the secret room, and Sun directly connected to all the defense towers on the city wall. Although I don't know if these magic crystals are enough for these towers to attack a few times, they can be used for the time being, even if they bluff people. At this time, the city wall of the Thousand Caves, at a glance, was dotted with stars. Even in broad daylight, the sunlight still could not block the flash on the top of the defense tower. As far as the naked eye can see, the power of this tower is absolutely staggering. On the four city walls, Sun walked around. The number of defense towers was at least 200, and even the defense towers in some places looked a little dense. Even the Xiaguo audience in the live broadcast room felt that this defense was absolutely fine. It can be seen that Gongsunli is very insecure, and in some places it is clear that a defense tower is sufficient, but she has placed 2 or even 3. Yes, it can be seen from this that the pressure in this girl's heart is far less relaxed than she seems. Of course, the pressure is very high, and it is also bitter for this girl. We, the people of Xia, must not forget Gongsunli's dedication. It's so distressing, she's only in her 20s. Gongsun didn't expect that he was just a big squander, which made the audience in the live broadcast room misunderstand where she lacked a sense of security. She just thinks that if she has made it, she can't still fall into the ashes in the ring, right? Doesn't this look good? Then, Gongsunli remembered another drawing that he had taken out in the secret room. That is, there are no materials, otherwise, I will change them all for you in minutes. Thinking of the big killer drawn on another drawing, Gongsunli's tone was a little girlishly tough. I'm sick of it. Materials for making fortifications, magic crystals. If only I had given me tens of thousands. Gongsunli thought hatefully, these things are actually not rare, and the materials should be the best to find now, except for her, she has no territory yet. In the case of the magic crystal, it is introduced as a mineral, which can be mined as long as there are mines and people. Forget it, stabilize the rear first, and then go to get the land requisition order of the beautiful country. Gongsunli pouted and slowly said his next plan. This can scare the people in the live broadcast room, especially the people in the Beautiful Nation Alliance. What do you mean? You Xiaguo really dare to rob our land requisition order? You don't die. If you hadn't delivered the news, I guess the GIs would have hit us on their guns. You are shameless. You're shameless. Ha ha ha. Wait, who won't say it? Look, we're going to go over and grab it soon. Sit back and wait for the beautiful country's national strength to go back 100 years. Ha ha ha. In the live broadcast room of Xiaguo, there was a quick quarrel, but there were many people in Xiaguo, and the alliance of beautiful states was obviously defeated. In the end, I could only quickly send a message to the GI to ask him to speed up. Thousands of miles away, the soldier's face was gloomy. Guys, we have to hurry, and soon that girl from Xiaguo will have her hands free. Humph, when I occupy the first fiefdom, plus our extraordinary strength, I can't fight. The soldier said viciously, and then his feet unconsciously sped up a little. Boom. At this moment, on the wall of the Thousand Cave city, suddenly a defense tower shot out a ball of light, making a sound that shook the sky. Damn, what's going on? The live broadcast room instantly fell silent. Sun was also stunned, and then hurriedly went over to check, why did the defense tower attack? Soon, Sun found the burned blackened corpse of a fierce beast under the city wall, which seemed to be a black bear. It's just that now his whole body is scorched black, and there is even white smoke, and there is no sign of life. Kill a third-order beast in one hit. Gongsunli's voice was a little surprised. She didn't expect the damage of the defense tower to be so powerful. That's right, magic crystal. Gongsunli hurriedly opened the base of the defense tower and took out the energy core magic crystal of the defense tower from inside. This original blue-purple magic crystal looks a little faded at this time, and when it completely turns white, it is equivalent to running out of energy, and this is all one time, and it will become a waste when it is consumed. But now, it seems that it is obvious that the blow just now did not consume much. According to Sun's budget, each defense tower should be able to attack about 10 to 11 times. Not bad, enough. Sun muttered and stuffed the magic crystal into the defense tower, and suddenly the defense tower lit up again. An attack directly kills a third-order fierce beast, and that fourth-order fierce beast is estimated to be uncomfortable even if it doesn't die. There are more than 200 defense towers throughout the whole process, and what are you worried about? It's getting late, we have to hurry. Yo, wait for me here. Sun directly threw out the flower umbrella and began to return to the city. Whoosh. 7 seconds later, Sun appeared in the Suanwei temple, and without delay, she directly took out the 2 defense towers in the ring and placed them on the edge of the cliff of Suanwei mountain, and then stuffed the last 2 magic crystals into it. Although this mountain range is easy to defend and difficult to attack, you can't really leave nothing behind. After all, there are conditions now. Then she turned around and ran down the hill. The giant crocodile, which was resting at the foot of the mountain, suddenly came to its senses, and it felt a familiar breath. Little crocodile. In the next second, Gongsunli's figure appeared in front of it. Here, put this on. Gongsunli waved his hand, and the golden collar flew directly towards the giant crocodile. With a flash of white light, the collar was placed around the crocodile's neck. Little crocodile. The giant crocodile suddenly heard Gongsunli's voice ringing in his head, and he was startled. Okay, I'll go back, what's the matter, you just tell me directly. Before Gongsunli's voice in her mind ended, her figure had already disappeared. There's no way, she can't stay outside for too long. And only now has the audience in the live broadcast room just reacted. How exactly do towers work? Seeing teleportation again, I seem to be floating, and I won't be surprised. Yes, you're floating, I'm still stunned and haven't reacted. This is too cool, don't you say? I suddenly really wanted to know how Gongsunli lived when he was in Langzing. If only I had this skill. Humha. Phew, ULSP. Just when the live broadcast room was lively, Gongsunli and Yu had already left Thousand Cave City and rushed in the direction where the soldiers were. From now on, she no longer has a trace of worries. This time, she is bound to take a piece of land. Viang Palace, Suanwei Forest, Thousand Cave City. Gongsunli's voice was fluttering. These were the only 3 places in the second home where she knew the name, but there were 2 that she was familiar with. She couldn't help but pay attention to this. National Games online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 100. At this time, Gongsunli's approach was condemned by countless people in Langzing. Of course, most of them are pretty, Sakura Takachan alliance people. What is this? This is aggression. On the Blue Star, Gongsunli's preparation to stop the soldiers and others halfway made people feel cold at the same time, but they were helpless. Indeed, a new era has come, but fortunately it is not a beautiful country that has taken the lead this time. otherwise there may not be a good country in the world now. It's just that this is the first time, and the pioneer of Blue Star premeditated to say that he was going to be the pioneer of another country, and everyone's hearts were more or less uncomfortable. Hurry! Thousands of miles away, on a small hill, countless fierce beast corpses fell beside the three soldiers. These beasts weren't high-level beasts. On the top of the hill, there is a smaller palace, and it is clear that this is the place where the land requisition order was placed. It's just that this place looks relatively desolate, but fortunately, the level of the fierce beasts guarding here is relatively low. The three GIs came to this place according to the guidance of the land requisition order. The three of them were killed here by force. There was no way, they knew that Gongsunli was rushing to this side, and they had to race against time to occupy this place before she arrived. "You're almost in front of the palace, Gongsunli, where are you?" William glanced up, and the land requisition in his hand shone brighter and brighter, clearly indicating that he was getting closer to his destination. He couldn't help but be a little worried that Gongsunli would not be able to come over before they occupied. "No, no, no, I can't walk." Immediately, William's eyes rolled, and he sat directly on the ground panting, looking tired. "Hey, William, cheer up." The soldier scolded his mother in his heart, but he didn't dare to show it. He knew that William was now the only ordinary person among the three. If it had been left on hold, he would have been left here, but not now, because the land requisition order was on William, and the whole world was watching them. If this is really done, I am afraid that the alliance of the beautiful countries will collapse in an instant in the future. When the time comes, don't even think about fighting against any Xia kingdom. Come on, William, after occupying this place, the treasure chests in this area will be yours, and you can become a transcendent. William, rush up. Don't abandon or give up. It seems that this time the beautiful country is really scared. In the past, I'm afraid I would have abandoned my teammates a long time ago. Come on, rush forward, and our triple alliance will be able to catch up with the Xia kingdom. In the live broadcast room of Eagle Sauce Country, at this time, the audience was furious and cheered up William. As for the live broadcast rooms of the beautiful country and the cherry blossom country, it was similar. Are all cheering for William? The soldier and Lu Xiaozheng were really helpless, and Lu Xiaozheng had no choice but to support William, and it was impossible to stop here, because the fierce beast could not be killed at all. They could only continue to walk upward, but because of William, the speed of the three of them was significantly slower. "Gongsunli, that's all I can do, you have to hurry up and..." William looked thoughtfully at the distant sky. He was afraid that after a while, the soldiers would really occupy this place, and he would be a threat to Gongsunli after he got the reward and his strength was improved. At this time, Sun was hurrying in the sky, and You's speed was already very fast, but the distance was indeed a little far. It's going to take some time. It's just that Sun's expression looked a little boring at this time. In fact, the more she walked, the more she felt wrong. Here, it was really desolate. Basically, she knew that it was probably not a good place, and it might not be a bad place. But thinking that there was a land requisition order, she still decided to go over. After all, the land requisition order is not good. She got the land requisition order. If you don't like this place, you can change it to other places to occupy. In the live broadcast room, there are also many people cheering Gongsunli. It seems that there is still a long way to go, and if I look at it like this, I don't know if I can make it in time. Don't panic, you see when Gongsunli has panicked. That's it, it's okay, if it's too late, we'll play tricks on them. Don't you see what the beautiful country is panicking now? It's okay, anyway, the new era is coming, and it is impossible for our Xia kingdom to monopolize the entire second home alone, right? Yes. Anyway, it's okay if others don't mess with us, you haven't seen what the lord of the country has said, and all the actions of the second home are up to Gongsunli's own decision. Look at it, anyway, we're so far ahead now, it's impossible to be surpassed by one less fief. Just kidding, we're in the immortal dynasty now. Huangji, you forgot. Ha ha ha. Yes, you don't know, right? Last time, the spring of life appeared, my grandfather was also stained, and the day before yesterday I went to the hospital for a checkup, and the doctor said that the cells in my grandfather's body were actually growing in reverse, and I saw black hair grow in the past 2 days. Ha ha ha. Rejuvenation, Gongsun is invincible. Xiaoguo's live broadcast room is much more relaxed than other live broadcast rooms. Although some people are more excited, looking at Gongsunli's leisurely appearance, they are also a little peaceful. And Gongsunli, who was sitting on Yu Yu's back, suddenly cheered up at this time. There's a situation down there. Yo yo. Go down and have a look. Siun suddenly felt that there was a life fluctuation below, and the most important thing was that this life fluctuation was very similar to the breath of a human being. Aboriginal. This word suddenly appeared in Siun's mind. Smack. With a soft sound, Yo Yu landed smoothly, and in front of the two of them, there was a small yellow mound. But now there is a voice in this mound, and this mound is empty. Siun signaled to Yu Yu, and then the two slowed down and restrained their breathing. Ha 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 ha. I, the great merchant Guns, have at last become the richest man in this barren hill. Inside the mound, a few candles were lit, reflecting a small shadow, which looked very happy and danced in place. Because the limbs are very short, it looks very funny. It's hard to imagine that this is less than 1.4 meters tall, and it turns out to be an adult. Jens, a dwarf, is only a little more than 1 meter and 3 meters tall, his complexion is a little dark, his round face still has a mustache, and a few shrewd lights flash in his eyes from time to time, looking a little treacherous. At this time, in the mound where he was, there were stacks of gold bricks. And in addition to these gold bricks, there are many large wooden boxes, some of which contain too many things, and even the lid can't be covered, and the jewels inside are falling all over the ground. There are even pet collars and land requisition orders scattered on the ground, showing that they are worthless. Obviously, here is the small treasury of Guns personally, no, this is the big vault. Even at Blue Star, the wealth is absolutely staggering. The last shipment came out, and I took these things back home to enjoy the blessings. Jens jumped for a moment, then fell silent, holding his head in his hand and fantasizing about his future days. These riches are all the hard work of most of his life, all by pit abduction, basically the entire dwarf tribe of the second home he has cheated all over again. Therefore, he can't do it anymore, otherwise he wouldn't be thinking about retirement in the prime of life. All right, little darlings, you wait for me here. Guns picked up an expensive necklace and kissed it twice. I'll finish my last order today, and I'll pick you up in the evening. Jens glanced at the treasure that was full of mounds, then turned and walked out. The whole hill instantly returned to calm. Phew. Suddenly, a rabbit ear popped out from behind the hill. Natives, dwarves. Siun had a hint of strangeness on his face, and then looked at the entrance of the mound. I have to say, this mechanism is indeed possible. Even Siun, if he hadn't known in advance, would definitely have thought that this was an ordinary mound. But now, when she sees it, she can't run. Yo yo, you're waiting for me outside. Siun greeted, and then the figure disappeared, leaving only an umbrella outside.